Many blessings, my loves. I am back. My name is Rebecca, and this is my new moon report for Pillars of the Moon. So, welcome everyone. I've missed you. I've missed doing this report. Last month I had a month off. I had lots of family stuff going on and changes and unexpected twists and turns and things. So it was a really big month for me, and I'm feeling much more grounded this month. We're finding a new flow and things are settling. So, yes, and I'm back, and I'm so excited to share with you my musings and my visions around this new lunar tide that we are about to journey into. So, as many of you know, I use astronomical astrology and the live sky for my reports. So um, it's slightly different to Western astrology, which doesn't match the live sky. If you want to find out more about that, I would suggest that you jump onto this amazing Facebook group that I'm part of called Radical Astrology, where there's lots of astrologers who are using the same kind of astrology as me. And if you have lots of questions and you're curious about attuning to astronomical astrology, the study of the sky as it really is, then you're welcome to hop over there and join us. Join us all. So yes, so as we know, we're coming into eclipse season now. So we have this cycle, which we're coming into on the 10th of March. We will have a lunar eclipse this cycle. And then the following cycle, the next new moon, will be the total solar eclipse, which is a big one. So I feel like this cycle that we're journeying into now, with the lunar eclipse energy, at the full moon. So the full moon will be a big purging or a big releasing of lots of things to do with our south node, the past and our karma and all of the things that we really need to integrate and move on from so that we can move more towards our collective north node, which will be the next new moon coming after this one. So I feel like this whole cycle will have a lot to do with that kind of um, rejuvenation and like a cleansing, purging of the old cycles and the old patterns and the old past lives and the old karma and coming to completion and letting go of a lot of those things to make way for the solar eclipse that will come in the next cycle. So keeping that in mind as we're journeying through this cycle together now with the lunar eclipse energy and what we may be moving through and exploring throughout this cycle. So yeah, I'm going to share a screen with you all. We're just going to do an overview of the month, of the month. So here we go. So the new moon will be on the Aquarius and Pisces cusp in that void space in between the two constellations. And yeah, as I've said, it's on the 10th of March, and this is in the GMT time zone. So this is the time zone where I live in England. So it'd be 9 o'clock in the morning, the new moon on the Aquarius Pisces cusp. The following day, or just after that, the sun will officially move into the stars of Pisces. And then we'll journey into our first quarter moon, which will be on the 17th of March. And I've put in the sign of Orion because it's actually on the border of Taurus and Gemini, which I consider to be the home of Orion. And so this is also the silver gate of reincarnation or the gate of man. Orion is connected to the hunter. So the first quarter moon energy will be when the sun joins with Neptune. And then a few days after that, we will be having our equinox. Equinox is the time of equal day, equal night. So the day and night are the same amount of hours. So it's a real time of balancing these energies and the polarities of the day and the night, which is perfect for the whole eclipse journey that we're on, you know. And what I will be sharing a lot about today will be about balancing the polarity of logic and creativity, and order and chaos, you know, and how these different polarities inside of us, you know, are really seeking some balance throughout this cycle. So for those of us in the north, we'll be having our spring equinox. Those of you in the south will be having your autumn equinox. So wherever we are in the world, this is a cycle of balancing the south node and the north node, you know. And I will share more about this, as I said, but, you know, I think globally, you know, we have leaned more into the logic, the productivity, the order, the work, the structure, and even more like the yang type energy. And, you know, in doing that, you know, the creativity or the dream or the poetry and the arts, and it's, you know, it hasn't had so much space, you know, in the way that the culture has been moving into this very more left brain logical kind of way, you know. So it feels like this whole cycle, you know, with the balancing of the equinox, is to really tune into these aspects inside of ourselves and seek that balance inside of us and see where we might be out of balance. Then we have our Venus joining with Saturn, you know, and I feel like this time when she joins with Saturn, you know, that there is an opposition to Black Moon Lilith as well. So this time could be bringing up a lot for us around our relationship to our father figure, the patriarchy, and the way that we have been led, conditioned, whatever. And because Venus is very creative, right? So as I was sharing around like this cycle being a lot to do with our coming more into balance with our creative energy, you know, which is the Pisces cusp, as Pisces Virgo cusp, where the nodes are at the minute, where the eclipses are happening. You know, it is a lot to do with like this, bringing our creative energy and finding that value and making a structure that is really supportive of that creativity inside of us and expression. And then we'll come into our full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, and we will be, that's on the 25th of March at 7 in the morning. And this is going to be a big energy, you know, and there's going to be a lot that we're going to be purging and clearing and releasing. Shortly after that, Mercury, planet of communication and networking and writing and words and how we share things, and the messenger of the gods will be going retrograde. And he will be going retrograde in the stars of Pisces, which is where we have our new moon and where we're going to have our solar eclipse. You know, so a lot to do with the Mercury retrograde energy will be around the Piscean vine. So I'll share more about that too later in the video. I will come back to that. And then our last quarter moon will be in Sagittarius on the 2nd of April at 4:14 in the morning. The Archer, you know, so we've got like a really the waning away of the cycle, you know, just before, you know, we come into our solar eclipse. You know, there's going to be a lot coming up, I think, I feel, around this kind of shedding of old belief systems and old ways of thinking of things, especially as Mercury is just going retrograde, right? So there could be a lot coming up around communication and beliefs, and Sagittarius is like cosmic order, and so there could be lots of confusion coming around communications, and logic and reason. And there could be, especially with Neptune's influence as well, this cycle. So I'm going to stop sharing that now. We're going to go into the sky. So anybody who is interested in the sky, is interested in the stars and studying, what we can see for ourselves, when we're looking from an astronomical perspective, you can go onto the Stellarium web and you can find yourself looking into the sky and the stars as they are. So let's just make sure we've got the time right. So we've got 9 o'clock, and this is the 10th of March 2024. Yeah, so this is the exact time of the new moon. You can see the sun and the moon together, as they always are on a new moon. You can see we've got Neptune very close, we've got Mercury very close, Saturn is over here in Aquarius. So during this cycle, Venus will be coming to meet with Saturn. And during this cycle, the sun will be coming to meet with Neptune. So there'll be lots of coming together of planets. Obviously, Jupiter and Uranus are getting quite close to one another on the border of Taurus over here. So they'll be journeying closer and closer together as well. So there's a feeling of coming together. Venus and Mars had their conjunction back last cycle in Capricorn with Pluto overlooking them, so there is a real kind of, I feel like, offering or a chance to really look at this union inside of us, and it's like Venus is being with Mars, so she's been in creating new structures and around her union with Mars, which is in the Capricorn energy, this energy of creativity and passion. When Venus and Mars come together, and the Capricorn energy, it's like wanting to create something more solid and create a structure around that love and that union and that passion and all that creative energy. So now she's going to meet with Saturn to share what she found in Aquarius, and to actually start to perhaps build some of those creative visions and dreams. And talking of the dream, we've got the energy of the sun and Neptune and the moon together with, in the Pisces energy, so we're so close to Saturn, so this could be a real opportunity to dream in that vision of that life or that job or that relationship or whatever it is that we really feel called to, and start to make steps to dream, to build the structure or move towards that we wish, to actually dream it in to reality, to bring it down into the earth and the physical reality of, the world that we live in now. Otherwise, it could be swimming around in the cosmic ocean forever. It's actually us that have to take the action and the steps to make it happen. And we can, we really can. It's just remembering that we have that great power. I wanted to share as well, like what I wanted to share at the last cycle, but I didn't get around to doing the video, was around the constellation Aquarius. In the constellation Aquarius, we have something called the Helix Nebula. Oh, where's it gone? Which is here. It's also known as the Eye of God. So you can connect to this energy when we're working with Saturn, where he is now, in Aquarius, and we can meditate into this place, this Eye of God and Eye of Goddess. So when we are, feeling like it's the Helix Nebula, it's called the Helix Nebula, which is to do with the eye. And the helix is, when you look into somebody's eyes, and I don't know if some of you would have heard of the saying, You know, when I look into your eyes, I can see your soul. So the helix, or the eye, is our connection to our soul, or source, our soul, our origin, you know. And so my journey over the last few months, I guess, or few years even, is my Mercury is here, my communication source. When I was born, in my natal chart was very close to this eye of God, Nabala. So, and I've just had my Mercury return, because Mercury's journeyed through Aquarius. So there's been a lot coming in for me around this particular place in the sky as a source that we can tap into to reconnect to our soul, the codes of our creation, and where we originated from. And when I've been, like, I get a lot of sound coming through me when I'm tuning into this place in the sky, and it feels a lot to do with the mother of the gods, the original mother. Some call her Danu, and some call her Tiamat. She has many names and different stories and myths, you know. But when I'm connecting to this place in the sky, you know, I feel really strong dragon energy. And, you know, the eclipses are connected to the head and tail of the dragon. So I feel like it's all connected, and it's important to mention this as well, you know. So when we're connecting to this place in the sky and we're connecting to our source, we remember the constellation of Aquarius as the source. And when you think of a source of something, you know, be it a source of a spring or the source of a river, you know, it's often deep in the mountains, or it's hidden away somewhere. It's kind of like, well, there's like a searching for this place, right? And then when we look at the Arthurian legends, you know, we are seeking the Holy Grail, or the fountain of youth. So when we are coming back to the Helix Nabala as a connection to our source, or a portal to our origin, you know, we can remember that there is a pathway here, or a connection point here, that we can tap into to bring us prophecy, to bring us insights, to guide us as to what we need to be doing and what could happen next. And so to me, when I'm going to zoom out again, beautiful Aquarius constellation, I feel quite protective over her because she, to me, is like the Lady of the Lake, or the Lady of Avalon. She's the keeper of the Grail, and she is connected in, like, the Greek mythology, you know, about the flooding, and the Egyptian mythology, the flooding of the Nile, or the returning of the waters to bring life. So the Aquarian energy brings life. And, you know, in many cultures, this energy is considered to be feminine. So we go back in time, and this constellation has, you know, become a god of Anu and the Anunnaki, and all of these different energies, which have made the Aquarian energy the source as a masculine figure, which, when I'm feeling like the energy of a source, you know, it's like the source of my children was my womb, you know, and the Grail is a womb. And to have a womb, you know, you're often considering yourself to be a female, feminine body. So to me, Aquarius is actually connected to the goddess Danu, the mother of the gods, the creator of all. And so I wanted to share a screen as well. I'm going to stop sharing that one for a second, because I want to share just this figurine of the goddess Danu. So this is from the Irish mythology. Danu is connected to the tribe of the tuatha danann. I hope I said that correctly. It's the tribe of the goddess Danu. They came to Ireland in a 3-day mist. So there we have the story of the mists of Avalon. And, you know, this special race of people, they had supernatural powers. You know, in some myths, they've come from heaven and connected to the fairy people. They're very mystical beings, creating art, craft, poetry, very high culture, connected to unicorns, dragons, serpents, had all these magical gifts. And so their story, you know, is connected to, they are the people or the tribe of the goddess Danu, who is the creator, creatrix of all. And when we look at her image here, she's holding this bowl. Does it remind you of anything? Does it remind you of the constellation Aquarius? You know, and how, like, when we look at the stories of the mists of Avalon, the Lady of the Lake, and the Holy Grail, and this fountain of youth, it's like these fairy people, or the people of the tuatha, of God, people of Danu. You know, they had immortal powers because they had this, the fountain of youth, which is connected to the source or the womb, or becoming young again. You know, so wow, this is going on a big rabbit hole. I'll rein it back in a minute. But what I mean, I've just been really deep diving into this energy through what it started through meditating on the Eye of God, or the Helix Nebula. It's taken me into this portal, and it's really powerful. And I really, if this resonates with you, you know, I'm really inviting you to connect with this mother energy, this nurturing feminine principle of life-giving power, you know, that womb energy, that water of life. And how, you know, the formal heart, which is the royal star of the south, is the southern fish that is drinking from this water. And from drinking from this water, you know, because the formal heart constellation is incredibly magical, you know, so it's like the beings or the tuatha danann, who were the tribe of Danu, you know, they're drinking from this fountain, and from drinking from her fountain, they're receiving supernatural powers and gifts, and, you know, working with magic and prophecy and oracles, and foretelling the future, and having all of these different powers that, you know, it's written in so many different texts and things. I've been doing a lot of research into it because I feel really, really a strong resonance in it for me. So yeah, I really wanted to speak to that. I really wanted to speak to the energy of Aquarius and what it means to me, because I feel like it's important to see through these lenses, you know, because and I think this has a lot to do with what this lunar eclipse in Virgo is bringing us. It's like how we can be rigid in details of ideas that could get us stuck from, and then we can release ourselves into the Piscean energy, and it can take us into this dream that can bring through transmissions and downloads and incredible insights. Actually, to be able to see in the dark is a great gift. So there can be, with the energy of Pisces, you know, there's this energy, the sun will be moving. You can see here at the time of the new moon, the sun is really closer on the border to Pisces than Aquarius. But I just wanted to mention about the Aquarian energy before we did anything else, because Aquarius is the beginning, it's the source, it's the returning home to our origin, to our soul. Once we have done that, you know, then we're coming into the Piscean energy, connected to our soul, you know. And I think this is with the reincarnation, and so much of how we're living our life now is in this disconnect from a sense of belonging, who we are, where we came from, our soul essence. You know, there has been, because the Pisces fish, you know, there's a cord that always attaches us to our spirit, so that we can always find our way home through this cord, which is our belly button, right? Which is our umbilical cord. It's the golden knot. So with the Pisces energy, you know, thinking of it as an ocean of consciousness, an ocean of souls, ocean of life, You know, when we're in the ocean, there can be unpredictability, there can be chaos, there can be fear, there can be drama, there can be darkness, deep, deep darkness. And what I find with this energy, because it is so creative, right? And it is so dreamy, and it could be absolutely anything. It's limitless. So there's no limit to this Piscean energy. So it can take us absolutely wherever we want to go, you know. So this will be where the solar eclipse is happening next cycle, you know. So this cycle is like a practice, you know. What is stopping us from really diving into those waters and that dream? What is limiting us, or what has us in like a cage of our past and our stories and the Virgo energy? What has us enslaved or trapped from really diving into this ocean? Because just like a birthing mother, you know, a woman who's birthing her baby, it's like she needs, her main job is to surrender to the unknowing, to the unpredictable, to the great mystery, which, you know, also connects into the myths of Avalon and the mysteries of the goddess, the mysteries of the Holy Grail. Where is the Holy Grail? Well, it's right here. It's Aquarius. It's Danu. It's the Lady of Avalon. It's this ancient mother goddess, you know, that we really can tap into and remember. So yeah, I think this whole journey, it could feel like we are in the waves of the ocean being moved around, and actually the great work is to surrender to the mystery now, because this is where our North Node is. This is where our collective destiny is. And Chiron is here. Chiron is connected to our wounds, the wounds that just won't heal. But, you know, my feeling is to heal our connection to the ocean, heal our connection to the unknown, to the mystery. When you think about the sea on the planet, you know, how much we don't know still about the ocean and how deep it goes and all of the things that are down there that it's just so mysterious and we just don't know. So around healing our connection or finding healing to the power of creation, you know. And so there's lots of ways that we can drop into this Piscean energy. There's lots of ways that we can journey into this mystical and dreamy place. You know, some people might take plant medicine or do different things like that. My technique, you know, the way that I drop into this part in myself, it could be from being in nature, connecting to the waters, like the springs, the sacred waterfalls, and all of the groves and the trees, and singing in nature. Also through like Kundalini meditation practices, dance, ecstatic dance can take you into this realm. Drumming, music, trance, drumming, all of these kind of practices, breath work, pranayama, even like especially for the artists and the people that write poetry, the people who are songwriters, musicians, artists, crafters. You know, this is really our time to, you may see it around you as well, and people are just writing these most beautiful poems and expressions of their creative gifts and art. And this is healing. This is where the healing comes. You know, you can write a poem about your wounds. It's going to bring so much healing, and that's going to move us towards our destiny. You know, really expressing how we're feeling through words. And Mercury retrograde is happening here in Pisces throughout this eclipse season. So it's our voice, the voice of our wounds, the voice of the unknown, the voice of the mystery, the voice of all that's been lost. You know, this is the gift of these next few cycles. You know, it's really to find that way to express our wounds, ways to express ourselves creatively. And then, you know, it's like there's a great opportunity through healing, but we need to find a way to unlock the cage of the Virgo servant who's just in the work, in the doing, in the servitude, in the hard work and service. We need to find a way to break out through however we find that way to tap into this highly creative energy, and that will bring us healing collectively. And yeah, so however that is for you, but there is a shadow here. There's a shadow. There's always a shadow when we're doing anything, right? So the shadow is, you know, with the Pisces energy, you know, we could be looking at alcoholism or an addiction to substances and escaping from reality. You know, so there's also that it could be out of balance if we are too, we don't want to be in the physical, we don't want to be in the practical, and we are wanting to escape into this dream and or just not be here, not be present. You know, so this is also what this cycle feels about. It's about balancing of these energies, because it can be, we could be too in our logic, too in the thinking, too in the working and the doing and the, you know, the left brain. And then the right brain can never express itself creatively. Or the other side of that is that we could be too in the creativity, the dream, and we just want to make art all day, and then, you know, we can't pay the bills, or we can't get anywhere with anything else because we're just so in the dream. So there has to be a balance, and this is the gift of the equinox. Balance. So this is the work of this cycle and the next cycle to really, but I feel like with the full moon in eclipse, which will be in Virgo, should we just go to that? I'll show you. 25th of March. At 7 o'clock in the morning, GMT time again. Oh, wrong way. Click, click. So the south node of the moon, the dragon's tail. Here you go, here's the full moon. You can see in constellation Virgo. So the south node is that which we are moving on from, or it's something that we've already completed. So we're not going to grow anymore or evolve anymore by staying here, although it may be more comfortable. You know, it's like a bird that's always been in a cage, and then you open the door and it probably wouldn't fly out because it wouldn't know how to, it's forgotten how to be free. You know, so there is a safety in the south node. There's a safety in what we know and what we've already done. You know, so the south node in our own chart, it represents, you know, what we've already done and what we can lean into and what we're naturally good at because we've done it. We've mastered it many lifetimes. You know, so we naturally would go into that particular role. So for me, my nodes are in Virgo and Pisces. So I naturally go into roles that are very me being of service and can be naturally very overgiving and giving and giving and giving. I think it's helpful for me to share my journey because this is where my nodes are and I'm in my nodal return. And so my path and all of our paths right now collectively is to really tune into how much we might be over-serving, over-giving, and being stuck in this cycle of work, you know, because the Virgo energy, it's like the servant, basically, just working, working, giving, giving, but not very much in return, you know, and, you know, because we can be in the Virgo energy, like a lot of my jobs have been working really frigging hard, long hours, small wages, not getting very much, and I'm like, oh, I'm in service, you know, I'm doing this for the greater good and all of these things. Like that's my I can be stuck in that. And so there is a creative genius with the Pisces energy that just wants to be in the ocean and be free and express and explore and just be in this mystical, magical energy, you know? So my South Node and our collective South Node may be having stuff coming up around this eclipse season around how to um, release ourselves or release the patterns that are connected to that overgiving or that serving and the hard working, and find ways to explore, especially with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, explore the mystery, explore the parts of us that we haven't explored yet. You know, the parts of us that are so desperate, they're desperate to get out. Come on. Where is that voice? It's hiding somewhere in the ocean. And so this eclipse season is around really dropping the details and dropping the control and the need to organize and order everything and step into the chaos. And how can we find a way in the chaos to be in the chaos and not get swept away by it? And this is my greatest challenge and gift in motherhood. Because, you know, 2 and 4-year-olds are highly unpredictable and messy. How do we surrender into the chaos, and what is going to help us in that? Because it can be highly uncomfortable to be in the chaos when our South Node wants to be safe and in what we've always known and done. For me, there's a meditation that I do which really serves me. It's about the breath. Oh, breath. And taking our energy down through the exhale, imagining that we are in an ocean. And so as we're exhaling, making our exhales as long and as slow as possible, and imagining through the exhale that we're dropping our attention and our energy down under the waves. And eventually with each exhale, you know, the inhale comes through the nose and it's just a short inhale. And the exhale plugs you back down. You can feel the anchor going deeper and deeper and deeper through each exhale. It takes you down and down and down. And eventually you might find yourself at the bottom of the ocean. At the bottom of the ocean is still. At the bottom of the ocean is calm. The bottom of the ocean is peace. So we can choose, you know, through our breath and our awareness, which part of the ocean. I mean, some people like surfing. I do sometimes, you know, but sometimes when both my children are surfing in their emotions, if I join in the surfing, nobody finds peace. If I can drop down, I can drop my breath down to calmness at the bottom of the ocean, you know, that the whole ocean can settle. So maybe collectively, you know, this is our challenge and gift. To then we can swim in the ocean and explore in the sense of peace. But it takes a lot of awareness and a lot of practice. It's like learning a new skill or a new magical trick that we have to learn. And it's not something that we have been taught, you know, to learn how to ride with our emotions and how to find centeredness and peace in the turbulence, you know, to be okay with the turbulence, to be okay with the chaos. Like it's like there's this kind of like need to control or fix or have like a plan that we are, all of us and myself, so brainwashed in, you know, we just need to know. And the Pisces energy, which is where my North Node is, and Jupiter and Sun, the Pisces energy is saying like, you don't need to know. In the not knowing, can bring you more than in the knowing, because if you know something, then you can get stuck in the knowing and be fixed in the knowing. And actually, in the not knowing, there's room to explore, well, what else? What else? Where are we from? What is this life? What is my body and my heart and my soul? And what are these feelings? What are these gifts? But if I just say I am this, that is me. It's like there's no room to be anything else. And maybe we have other parts of ourselves that are wanting to be explored and uncovered. So that is my offering, for this eclipse journey and what we can be exploring in ourselves at this time. Yes, now what else did I want to share? I'm going to go into the chart for the new moon. I've already done some squiggling on it. 22 degrees. The new moon is at 22 degrees. So in the chart that I'm drawing up, it's coming up right at the end of Aquarius. And I love the number 22. It's the number of divine union. It's the number of Mary Magdalene. It's the number of, it's a beautiful number. It reminds me of two swans, the two swans when they've got that 2-2 thing. Anyway. And so the 5 of the Neptune, it's about changing our dream, changing our perception, changing the vision. And then we've got Saturn at the number 13, and that's connected to the divine feminine. And then Venus is at 0 degrees, which is a new beginning. 0 is the womb. Like my son always says, the first number is 0. Because he knows. These young children, they just know it all really. They're closer to the truth than I think I am now at my age, so so the new moon close to Neptune, Mercury and Saturn, this is around our dreams and our visions, our voice, our creativity that is having a new beginning. Venus, she's returning to source. As I was sharing all of this stuff about the goddess Danu, Lady of Avalon, the Lady of the Lake, the energy of Tiamat, the original mother, Venus is at 0 degrees. She's at source. The 0 being the source or the womb, the hole, the 1 being the seed, right? So she is going into a new cycle, a new beginning, a new world. So this is a new world for our creativity at this new moon. And Saturn is opposing the Black Moon Lilith, who is in Leo. So I really want us to tune into the father-daughter relationship, and this is also connected to Pallas Athena because she's in T-square to the new moon. Pallas Athena, she's got this great, it brings up a lot in astrology about the father-daughter relationship. And Athena is to do with strategy and analyzing and logic and very left brain, so she is in T-square to the Black Moon Lilith, who's in Leo. This is very creative feminine energy. And the new moon, Sun, Neptune, Mercury. So Saturn. So there is this reasoning, reflecting on the relationship with the father, and the father could not just be like our relationship to our dad or something, but our relationship to God, or that masculine father figure. Could be the government, the patriarchy, that which supports us structurally, financially, our responsibilities, or how we're, we may have learned that we have to be responsible to make money, to be resourced, to, be mature and be good. And so the Black Moon Lilith in opposition to Saturn is like, but what about my art? What about my songs I want to sing? What about, so it reminds me of like the energy of a 2-year-old, my daughter, you know, it's just like she'll roar because she can't have something, you know. So that could be this part of us that wants to roar because we couldn't have something creatively, you know, in through our father line, or the way that we've been conditioned into working, and how it can take us out of this creative genius, you know, which is Black Moon Lilith in Leo, which, you know, we can create, because Lilith is the serpent. The serpent energy is also our kundalini. It's connected to our creativity, you know. So Black Moon Lilith in Leo wants to shine. She wants to be on the stage and perform, and, you know, and there could be these shadows coming up around, you know, our relationship to Saturn, and how the rigidity of Saturn that wants to restrict and conform us into a certain way may have restricted us so much that we couldn't create. And so moving through this cycle, you know, coming up to the full moon, there's going to be a great purging around that, a big releasing around that, that we are allowed to be creative beings. You know, like the world needs art, the world needs creativity to shine. And it's like, imagine the world, like flowers are creativity, you know, the birds singing is creativity. It's like telling the birds not to sing, or come on, you have to go and do a job now, you have to, don't sing, or don't do this, or don't grow flowers, and don't, you know, it's like nature wants to create. Nature does create naturally. It's our natural way of being, to be creative, you know. So this relationship to Saturn that could have restricted us is really being brought to our attention this new moon and this whole cycle, so that we can come into the creativity that is required for our healing, the dream of Pisces and the unknown, all of that which has been lurking beneath, that we really, you know, are needing to uncover and heal. And collectively that will bring us, you know, into a journey into the age of Aquarius, which is a while away, you know, but we are coming to the end of Pisces now. So it's like we need to heal, and we need to sing the song of healing, you know, for our collective. Yes. And then Ceres, beautiful dwarf planet Ceres. Ceres is in T square to the nodes. So T squares challenges, you know. So Ceres is nurturing feminine principle, motherhood, fertility, family, you know. So there's a challenge or tension, you know, to do with the nurturing feminine principle, you know, which is very much in the flowers and the earth and the fertility of life, you know, and how it's like the structures of a Virgo kind of order, which is also a Saturn thing as well. It's like wanting to order things in such a way, just keep building houses over the trees and all of that, you know. So it's like there's a lesson or a principle here that wants to be, the tension to be released around it, you know. So, or it could be the energy of the mother of all, the mother of creation. I was talking about Danu, let's go back to her, you know, but this original mother. So it's like also bringing into our attention how we mother ourselves, how we take care of ourselves and our own needs. And actually, you know, the Virgo servant doesn't really get a chance to take care of her own needs because she's always taking care of everyone else, you know. So the challenge here is, you know, how much better do we feel if we've had, you know, a day doing something creative, you know, expressing ourselves, or just taking some time to create something that's beautiful and unique to us, you know, that will nourish us, fill up our well, so that then we, you know, we're more in balance. So this is the challenge with the nodes of Ceres, is like that we need to take care. We need to, it's like caring of others and serving of others with the South Node in Virgo, or taking care of our wounds and our creativity with the North Node. You know, so that's the challenge. That's the things that we're needing to look at, of like that nurturing our own wounds. So we're moving towards Pisces, we're moving towards Chiron, and we're really wanting to find new ways, creative ways of nurturing our wounds and our creativity, because it's so infinite, right? And so really looking at the ways that we may be serving others first, or our job or our family or whatever it is, or community, whatever. So that there has to be balance. Equinox. I'm just going to do the first quarter moon before I log off. I'm not going to talk all day. So as you can see, the first quarter moon is on the Taurus and Gemini cusp, right in the middle, which is where Orion is. So Orion the hunter is holding the first quarter moon. And at the time of that, the Sun and Neptune are like, wow, really conjunct together. Venus and Saturn are together. Still opposing Black Moon Lilith, you know. So I feel like actually this time, when Venus is coming in with Saturn, you know, it could be bringing up a lot of sadness, a lot of depression around our creativity or our hearts that we may be feeling. Because Saturn can bring an element of that kind of depressed feelings, you know, so it might be bringing like loneliness or feelings of isolation, or Venus may be talking to Saturn and saying, hey, I really want to do something different. I want to create this, you know, so, and that may be also coming from the Black Moon Lilith in Leo, who's just like I said, wanting to create, wanting to shine, wanting to be in the light. You know, so it's like I see Venus kind of like talking to Saturn and being like, okay, so, you know, this hasn't been working for me, actually. I feel like I've been drowning in servitude and I want to do a new way. And at that time, Mercury will be conjunct the North Node and Chiron as well. And look, Jupiter and Uranus are getting close, getting closer every day. Yeah, so Neptune and the Sun, you know, could make us feel very dreamy, also confused, could have these feelings of like lostness, as I said as well, escapism, wanting to get out of reality, get away for a few days, just, you know, not be here. So just really watching out for that. It could be bringing up, like I say, like not wanting to be here, wanting to escape from this reality. You know, with Venus and Saturn could bring, you know, kind of depression, sadness kind of energies as well. But, you know, what I feel like we could really tap into at the time of the first quarter moon, which is around the time of the 17th, and coming towards the equinox energy, to tap into the Mercury energy with the North Node. I mean, look out for it. There's going to be poems, there's going to be art, there's going to be creativity coming up through us, and that's going to be expressing our wounds, you know? So using that, it's like finding that voice for our wounds and doing some creative with it, something unusual, something that is maybe been hidden, maybe showing a part of us that may make us feel vulnerable, to bring that up into the light. And there's a grand trine between Jupiter, Uranus, who on the end of Aries coming into Taurus, and Juno, and also Ceres. You know, so this is an energy of, like I said before, there's Jupiter and Uranus together here. It's like all about breaking free, revolutionary, expanding into like a whole new thing. And it can feel very like new and like innovative, futuristic kind of ideas coming in that we want to expand and explore into the new parts of ourselves, you know, that we may be uncovering. And this is going to bring us nurturing. This is going to bring us into this taking care of ourselves through this creative explosion. and being committed to that creativity, because Juno is all about things that we're committed to. This is also a mothering, maternal energy. So it's really finding that nurturing for our creative life, that nurturing for our gifts and our soul essence, and all of those mysterious things. We may feel like we want to be more solitary. We want to just be in the vision. We may be feeling more sensitive. Our dreams are going to be around this first quarter moon. Our dreams are going to be like, whoa, because Neptune is affecting our dreams, right? So we may be getting really bonkers dreams and things coming in through our dreamscape that we can really tune into and work with. So yeah, I think that's all I'm going to share about the first quarter. I'm not going to share about the first the full moon lunar eclipse today, because I'll do another video on that in a few weeks' time. But just wanted to show you quickly. So we get the eclipses when the sun and the moon, the new moon and the full moons align to the nodes of the moon. So you can see that the full moon is close to the south node in Virgo. And yeah, and so that's probably as much as I'm going to share about that today, because I don't want to give too much away. And I've already shared quite a lot around it anyway, so I will come back and we'll explore it some more in a few weeks. But stop sharing. So I think that's all for today. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for listening to my musings and the way that I'm visioning things, because we all have these different lenses, and I think it's really important to, yeah, just share what we feel and what's coming up for us. Yeah, I'm really wanting to honor as well, like the Dini Maha, or the good people, the fairy people who were the tribe of the goddess Danu. Because I've been researching a lot of the Irish origin myths and around these mystical beings who were incredibly talented artists and poets and musicians. And so I feel like the energy that's coming through with this eclipse is like really attuning to that mystical, magical talents and gifts and art that is inside of us, and how with the North Node and Chiron there, it's like it's taking us into that magic that will bring us so much healing. And these people, these beautiful beings are Didi Maha, people of She as well, they're also known. They're talented healers. So it feels like this time is really about like reconnected to that energy. Especially for myself and my nodal return, it's like, wow, I'm noticing how much I can get stuck in that Virgo South Node and wanting to be of service and take care of everyone. And actually, like, by taking care of my own creativity is what brings me healing. So that may have some resonance for you all as well. Yeah. So happy eclipse season. Here we go, friends. Let's get uh, our skills and our breath and our centeredness together, and just really support each other through this journey. Yeah. All right. New moon blessings. Mwah! It's good to be back. Lots of love.